Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez are here. They're filmmakers whose work consistently entertains and, yes, surprises audiences. They're close friends who also work together. Each advises and contributes to the other's movies. Now they have teamed up and they share top billing. Their double feature is called Grindhouse. It is a tribute to the exploitative B-movies of the 1960s and 1970s. Rodriguez's film is called Planet Terror. Tarantino's is Death Proof. Here is the trailer to Grindhouse.
It was called The Grindhouse. Theaters that played back-to-back movies featuring uncensored sexuality and hardcore thrills. Now, Tarantino and Rodriguez are bringing The Grindhouse back with two explosive feature films. First,
they're stealing biochemical weapons.
When the laws of science are broken, the last hope for humanity rests in the hands of a few. Doc Block, his prescription, pain.
We gotta lose the arm, Joe.
What do you mean lose arm? My arm?
Dakota, one hot mama who knows the score.
If anyone comes to the door, I want you to run.
What if it's Dad?
Hello, baby.
Especially if it's your dad.
El Rey, cross him and it's lights out. And Cherry Darling.
I made you something.
She tastes like trouble. With an attitude to boot. In Robert Rodriguez, Planet Terror.
Then
Buckle up, because a new kind of terror is coming at 200 miles per hour.
Ladies, we're gonna have some fun. There are few things as fetching as a bruised ego on a beautiful angel.
Is that cowboy wisdom?
I'm not a cowboy, Pam. I'm a stuntman.
Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof.
This car is 100% death-proof. Only to get the benefit of it, honey, you really need to be sitting in my seat.
Two adrenaline-fueled roller coasters. One ticket to ride. In 2.5 hours of pure dynamite. Planet Terror and Death Proof. Only at the Grindhouse.
I think I know the answer looking at that that trailer,
Right.
But tell me what Grindhouse means.
Well, Grindhouse, I do believe it was a variety coin term, but what it represented was old dilapidated movie theaters that are in the urban areas, the big city urban areas of America, like Kansas City or Chattanooga or Los Angeles or New York or Chicago, and they were like old dilapidated theaters, and in some cases, like might have been the big, vaudeville houses of the day, showing basically double and triple features of exploitation movies of all kind of, lurid subject matter, whether it be horror films or sexploitation nurse movies or cheerleader movies or blaxploitation movies, and you always kind of took your life a little bit in your hands by going to see it, but it just showed your commitment to cinema all the more.
Now, a lot of sex, a lot of violence.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, why did you want to do this now?
Well, I've always been bemoaning that whole type of cinema leaving.
And you even have film festivals about it.
Oh no, exactly. That actually is kind of where this actually pretty much started. It was the idea that me and Robert, I've been screening. I have a film print collection, and I've been screening movies at my house, and they're kind of similar to what the Grindhouse show is: double features with trailers handpicked by me in the middle, kind of creating this ambiance of the night. And then I had such fun doing that I've been doing this film festival for about 10 years in Austin now, where I take a bunch of prints over and put them together for the night. And Robert goes to every single one of them. He sits right next to me.
Being an Austin resident, by the way.
Exactly, and it's so great. And I've even taken it, and done it in a few other places. I did it at the Seattle Film Festival once. And so we've just been doing this for a decade and just having a great time doing it. And really, part of it was one of Robert's ideas. Let's do a Quentin night at the movies, the way he does it, but let's do it on a grand scale and release it in 3,000 theaters and really entertain the world with it.
And here it is.
Here it is.
Now, before we go there, let's go back a little bit and talk about this friendship. You two met at the Toronto Film Festival?
Film Festival '92, because I had El Mariachi, which I came to talk to you about, and he had Reservoir Dogs. So we're both had our first film out, and we're kind of doing the festival circuit together.
Right.
And we ended up being on panels where we do panel discussions that they put us on together about violence in the movies in the 90s,
exactly.
even though it was only 92. It was already a subject, because we came out right at the same time, and his guys were violent and black, and so was mine, and we had to kind of explain ourselves to the festival crowd, because we both kind of made exploitation movies and ended up in film festivals as high art.
Yeah, it was like me, you, the Romper Stomper guy, and
Man Bites Dog.
and the Man Bites Dog guys. All right, we're like double dating. All right.
But we got on really well, and it was a thing we commented on. We said, "Wow, if I had known you in high school, we would have been best friends." Because I was trying to make movies even back then, since I was 12, and he's a writer and a director as well. It's hard to find people who are like-minded when you're that kind of person. But what would normally happen is you meet somebody like at a festival, and you never see him again. But we got on really well, and he said, "Oh, you're gonna like my next thing, Pulp Fiction. I'm writing that." I went back to where I was writing Desperado at Columbia Pictures, and he ended up having an office 2 doors down, which I didn't know he was there. So we ended up hanging out all through the writing of Pulp Fiction and Desperado, and just becoming really good friends. And then I finally cast him in Desperado. So this is now our 6th collaboration, because we had so much fun working together. And being friends first, and then working together and liking each other's work.
And just really encouraging each other, you know. It was like, I was inspired by my thing, and I'd explain it to him, and he was like the perfect audience for it. So his enthusiasm got me excited, and it was versa versa when it came to Desperado.
Yeah, all right, now, this for Grindhouse. But how did you decide how to do this, and who's going to go first, and who's going to go second, and how it's going to come together, and which one is better?
Well, what I think how it even started was I had just done a 3D movie. 3D movies had been dead for a while, and I did a movie for Spy Kids 3D. It did really well. I remember going to the theater and putting on glasses, and I thought audiences might get a kick out of it. They haven't seen it since the 80s. And so I brought it back, and now 3D movies have come back because that did so well. And I was trying to think of the next thing that was a theatrical experience like that I'd forgotten about. And I just remember how much fun I had watching these double features of Quentin's, and I thought, I think I'm going to do a double feature. Originally, I was going to direct them both. I had this idea about 3 years ago. I want to do a double feature, and Planet Terror was going to be one of them, and they were going to be sort of short features, so audiences weren't into that long. And I kind of forgot about it when I did Sin City, and then I came to Quentin with the idea, because I saw one of the double feature posters from way back when laying on his floor, and I had the same poster on my floor back in my house that inspired me. And I said,
what was the poster?
It was called Drag Strip Girl and Rock All Night, 2 Roger Corman AIP movies from the
king of
50s,
B movies.
yeah,
from
exactly,
the 50s.
yeah.
I said, I wanted to do a movie like that, but you should do one and I should do one together. And he said, oh, we got to call it Grindhouse. Within 5 minutes, we had the whole idea. And we said, I'll go first in alphabetical order, but maybe in Texas, I'll headline, and in LA, you'll headline. But it ended up being this thing, once we put them together, mine seemed to be a good opener because it had the more sensationalistic stuff.
But you worked on both of you. You edited his, you helped him, you gave advice to him, and he gave advice to you, or you just went off and did your separate movies and brought them together?
Yes and no. I mean, we actually worked more on, we commented more about each other's scripts. That was where it actually kind of like worked out more.
I moved into his guest room to write mine. And we kind of hung out during that period.
Yeah, and then when he shot his first, so I was actually on his set like a lot. And he was kind of grooming me to be my own DP. So he was actually telling me to like operate second camera, so I'd get like used to it and get familiar with it. And it was actually kind of just fun. I would just like I would hang out there, and it's like all of a sudden if I saw an actor was getting distracted while Robert was working on something, I'd run lines with them, or give them a little coaching or something like that, and send them up to act in front of Roberts. It was fun.
Tell me what Planet of Terror is about.
Planet Terror is these kind of exploitation movies always seized on something that was happening during the day, even before Hollywood wanted to talk about them. And this was, I thought, well, if I'm going to do a zombie movie, let's make it an infection that comes back.
Biotech kind of infection.
That comes back from the Iraqi War. So that it's something that's current and something that people might fear, and you exploiting that, to a horrible degree. It comes back and takes over this entire small town. It's going to spread all over the world if a go-go dancer, a wrecker, a sheriff, and a doc don't become more than they are to take over it and try to stop it. And of course, they can't. So.
And who is the principal actor?
There's several leads, but I think Rose McGowan plays this go-go dancer who loses her leg, and her boyfriend, the wrecker, Ray, who seems to know how to do everything because he's like this mythical superhero, gives her a machine gun leg.
Okay, here is Cherry Darling, played by Rose McGowan. Take a look at this clip.
Broke my leg.
Okay. I made you something. Stand.
Wait, let's do that. Yeah, that was your idea?
That was my idea of the radio.
When I was doing the scene, he goes,
It needs
I was
some-
filming it, and he comes back, he's watching the monitor. I shoot in HD so that everybody can see really clear the monitor. And he's looking at the monitor, and he can see so clearly, he can see the radio way in the back. He goes, did you notice that in the framing you got the radio way back there? It'd be a great little button if she shoots the radio. I go, what radio? I can't even see it on the set. I look on the monitor. Oh, now I can see it.
You shoot everything in HD?
Yeah, and so what I did with this, that was the whole idea. I thought, oh, this will be great. I'll shoot digital, but I'll use my special effects to make it look like an old film print from the 70s. So it looks like an old film and all deteriorated, all as an effect.
Yeah, there's a great story about that. You know this really well. In the beginning, when they were doing B movies, they would make about, 10 copies, and they'd start in New York.
If that.
10 copies,
That was
that's a wide
big,
release.
Yeah, my goodness.
That's a wide release, 10 prints.
Warner Brothers did 10 copies.
So one would start in New York, one little copy,
Yeah,
one print, show here, then go to Philadelphia,
Yeah.
then maybe down to Washington,
Yeah,
then out to Chicago, and then maybe to Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, you're actually starting the high end. Probably starting Chattanooga, all right, is where it started.
I don't know what movie you're talking about.
It wouldn't.
It wasn't a great
it
one.
wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
But by the time it got to
Yeah.
Chattanooga, or wherever it was going,
Yeah.
it had been scratched.
Oh, yeah.
It had
I mean, they're
been-
playing in the worst projectors, you know,
exactly.
that were in
And
operation.
so whoever saw it after the 10th screening
Yeah, exactly.
saw something different than the people in beginning.
But the weird thing is like having a film print collection, you know, that becomes almost part of the experience. And either showing them at my house or showing them in Austin at the film festival I do, kind of the quality of the print creates this communal atmosphere inside of the cinema. And about like, and also we're playing with the idea that these prints are kind of like Frankenstein monsters. They're kind of made up of different sources. So you could watch a print and this reel is all red, this reel is faded, but then all of a sudden there's this IB Technicolor reel and there it looks gorgeous.
All right, take a look at this. This is another scene from Planet Terror.
You like Ava Gardner?
Sorry?
Ava Gardner. Do you like her?
Yeah, I guess.
I was just thinking that you kind of look like Ava Gardner a little bit. You know what this is?
A gun?
It's simplicity itself. You see, you pointed at what you want to die, and you pull the little trigger here, and a little bullet comes out here. And the bullet hits you right there. And you know what? You don't look like Ava Gardner no more.
Let me get this straight. You ran out of money.
Ran out of money. No, I ran out of interest
and
in
you couldn't
seeing
get a
actors.
professional actor.
The actors I saw just weren't up to snuff. And he read at the table, we were doing a table reading just to hear it, and he read the lines, and we're like, everyone there just went, Quentin's got to do it.
I wasn't supposed to do it. It literally was, Quentin, take this role. All right, we're at the script reading.
It's like very Grindhouse fashion. The cameraman, now in the movie.
Yeah, like my name of my character is Rapist Number 1. All right, Quentin, play Rapist Number 1. All right.
There was a time in your life which you really wanted to act a lot.
Yeah.
Do you still have that
Bug. I've lost the bug.
You have?
I have lost the bug. I remember talking about the bug
Right
at this
here.
table.
At this
actually,
table.
All right, very passionate about it, and I've lost it. And
But Charlie,
kind of glad I lost it.
He's
Actually,
so good in this movie, and I
It's
can
gonna
see how
revive
he
a
affects
career?
people. I think the bug is back.
What kind of bug?
I'm loving all the praise.
bug is
all
it?
right. I'm loving the praise.
Bug, the infection is spreading.
I got the other side of praise on my acting for a long time, so I'm appreciating it now.
There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Now tell me about the fake trailer,
Well,
which is
yeah. Well, the thing is, what we did is, part of our thing to do with this movie was we wanted to create, truly like the experience of going to the movies back in the 70s in these kind of theaters. And look, Planet Terror, you take it out of the Grindhouse and you show it. It's got to work completely as a movie on itself without any of this other stuff. Same thing about Death Proof. But you put it together, it needs to actually be even more than just like buying a ticket to a movie, it needs to be a ride. It needs to be the Grindhouse experience from beginning to end. And the only way to really do that is to create all the stuff that bracketed these two movies and actually have an intermission with wild trailers from different exploitation genres and really kind of give that whole experience. And so Robert did one of them himself, Machete, which is sort of stars the actor Danny Trejo. Robert's always been saying he's the Mexican Charles Bronson. And,
Mexploitation.
yeah, Mexploitation.
Mexploitation.
Mexploitation.